Hello, and welcome to episode 25 of On Second Thought with Mike and Matt, coming to you live on February 1st, Saturday morning. Good morning, Matthew.
Good morning, Michael.
How are we today?
Tired, but doing good. Doing
Yeah?
very well this morning. Yeah, it's nice and sunny out. It's going to be a beautiful day, especially up to 50-something maybe.
Wow. It is, it looks like it must have started to rain last night and then snowed. There is a crust outside that I am not looking forward to shoveling. I'm debating whether I should shovel it or not because it's just a thin layer of crust. I don't know if I just let Mother Nature take care of it, or, oftentimes when I don't take care of it, like when it's questionable like this, inevitably what happens is another storm comes through, and now it makes it harder to shovel because there's a crust. There's a foundation of gunk. So, but it's going to be a back-breaking, it's not something I can use with my 48-inch snow plow shovel. It's not something I can do with the snow blower because it's just going to get all gunked up in the machine.
Right.
So it's really worst case scenario right now.
We are finally, from that snow we had back on the 6th, finally melting. All of it is going away, melted and away. We had a bunch of rain coming Thursday and yesterday, and with the temperatures being high, get to see the yards and stuff again.
Yeah, it's
very nice.
It's supposed to get in the mid 40s on Monday and Tuesday, but it's also supposed to snow tomorrow and Monday.
They're talking next week here, I think Tuesday or Wednesday, like 65. It's crazy.
Well, you want to hear about crazy, Matt? I started my new job on Monday.
Yeah.
And, I had a quick welcome meeting. I thought everything went well. And then everything on my desk started moving and vibrating. I thought it was like, am I having a stroke? I thought the meeting went well. And shit, we had an earthquake. So I started my first day of work and we had an earthquake. I did not have that on my bingo card. But here we are, 4.1 earthquake in the northeast region. I think it started in Maine. And, it was felt as far away as Virginia and New York.
Wow.
But yeah, I have felt two earthquakes before, and it's always one of those situations. Did you feel that? Did you feel that? And everybody's like, no. And then sure enough, later on the news, it's like, yeah, we had an earthquake. Everyone felt this one. Lynn said the bed was moving upstairs. My parents said they could see things moving in their house.
Bed was moving in ways it's never moved before.
That's right. So, yeah. So that was a fun way to start the week.
Yeah, it's kind of. That area is really not built for that or anything, and neither is here really. There's a major fault line going through this way, but there's not built for earthquake loads and stuff.
I think the biggest earthquake we've ever had, I think I was doing some research on it after it happened, or I was reading the articles, like 1695 or something like that was like the last time we had a really large earthquake.
You're due.
We're all fucking due for something, Matt. Let's be real here. There is a reckoning coming.
Oh, there is.
Speaking of which, how do you feel about a candy tax? So currently on the books in Massachusetts,
oh god,
candy, like in 15 other states, is considered a grocery item, and you don't have to pay a tax on it.
Correct.
Now, some states like Illinois have like a flour tax. Some items that have, depending on how much flour they have in it, get taxed. Currently on the books in Massachusetts, if the candy costs more than $3.50 and it's sold in a vending machine, it could be subject to a tax. Now, I don't know who's buying $3.50 worth of candy in a vending machine.
Yeah, no shit.
But anyways, since we haven't had Halloween here in a long time. I have no idea what a bag of candy costs. But, the governor of Massachusetts put in her proposal for the budget. And one thing that was sort of put in there, and she's putting it under the guise, I got to pay for the snow plows somehow, is maybe a proposed candy tax. And
you know, a bunch of kids stand up and revolt.
I don't know how much candy kids are eating anymore. At least my kids aren't candy. I mean, they'll eat it if you bring it home for them, but they never like. It's not like our day, Matt, where you could scrounge up 50 cents and go buy a candy bar. Like, I don't know how many kids are doing that anymore.
We used to walk them down to.
I think they're on to bigger and better things.
Yeah. It's not back in the day where, man, we'd go run around looking for pop bottles to turn in for their deposit to get money for candy or another pop or something.
That's the other thing. They might be proposing tax on like those energy drinks. A lot of sugar in those.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
Another way to get a dime out of the man and woman just working to make a living. But some economists are saying that, it's not so much to pay for the snow plows, it's to sneak in some wellness into the budget, get people off of candy and trying to eat better. They tried that with cigarettes, right? And maybe that has worked. I haven't followed, since I am not a smoker, I haven't really followed the buying habits, but they keep, increasing the price and tax on those things to sort of curb people's spending habits, which is going to get into our next topic here in a minute. But so I don't know how successful that has been. Certainly I am not around any smokers, and so I don't know if that has curtailed their purchasing.
It's definitely expensive. Smoking is what I think a carton of cigarettes in some places is, I don't know, $50-$60, I think. I could be speaking out my ass, but it's expensive.
Yeah. So that's what, raise the prices on it to sort of get people to think twice. So there has been some speculation in the gaming industry, Matt, that certain publishers, maybe developers, financial people are hoping that Take-Two releases Grand Theft Auto at $100, which will open the door for other people to start maybe not charging $100, but raising the price from $69.99 to $85.99, $79.99 to bump the cost of games up. And there's lots of people weighing in on this, and some people are saying is you want to keep the funnel at the top as wide as possible. If anything, Take-Two could lower their prices and make huge amount of dollars. No matter what they do, GTA is a juggernaut. Whether it's $100, $49.99, $60.99, people are going to buy it. But the guys and girls that sort of run the numbers, saying they should do nothing, they should keep it as it is. That keeps the funnel wide open. It lets the regular people buy it at $69.99 and then doesn't price the whales out who want to buy all the ultimate, deluxe, gold, whatever those special editions might be. Where once you start raising it to $100 for the base, then how much are you charging for those other editions? And then that's when you can sort of constrain that funnel and not let people in. I think GTA, like I said, is a special case, though.
It's going to sell at $100. No doubt about it.
Yeah, for sure. And there's been some other facts out there that, the average gamer buys a new game every 6 months. So when you think of that, that is a tough number to sustain an industry. And they're saying what usually entices their purchasing decision is whether the game will get consistent free updates. So they want to stretch that. If they're buying something for $69.99, they want to stretch that value as much as possible. And I always go back to that. Why do we hold games to that standard? The fucking $60 steak someone had last night is pooped out like 2 hours later. The $100+ you spend at baseball or sporting events or the movies, those things are fleeting. 2 to 4 hours and then they're over with. But this fucking video game that was made by hundreds of people and they're charging $69.99. No, it's got to be free. No, it's got to give me 800 hours of entertainment, or otherwise I'm not considering it.
Yeah, I don't understand that. I don't understand that thinking behind this. You're buying a good, a product that is going to give you hours and hours and hours of entertainment, replayability for sure. I'm sure there's going to be an online aspect of this thing, like they do. So you get more and more hours in there. I'm with you, Mike. I don't understand that thinking to why they think that this is overpriced or something.
Yeah, I mean, like GTA is the outlier. Like you said, no matter what it's priced at, it's going to sell. But I think, some of these other games, the Fortnites, the free-to-play games that people are getting hundreds and hundred hours are really the problem in gaming that's not letting some of these other games be as successful or not as successful in the eyes of the people writing the checks. Like they just said Dragon Age the Veilguard sold so far 1.5 million units. Seems like a good, decent number, but not in the eyes of EA and the people writing the checks and how much it cost. That it didn't meet expectations. And what happened this week, people who got moved off of certain projects at BioWare, some people were let go. So it always comes back to that conversation that the problem with gaming is not enough new ideas, not enough new IPs. The problem with gaming is that every game has got to be compared against Fortnites of the world and compete with the free-to-play games where people just want to sink hundreds and hundreds of hours into free-to-play games, and if they decide to pump any money into a season pass or cosmetics, then that's where they'll spend their money.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely get the games like that, but I think a game like Grand Theft Auto, a game like Indiana Jones, Call of Duty, I think definitely paying for those and get your money's worth out of those. It's well worth the price.
Indiana Jones is interesting with these Game Pass numbers. You never know what that means. They said 4 million people played Indiana Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean played for like 5 minutes? Does that mean downloaded it? 4 million impressions or 4 million people completed it from beginning to end. That number is sort of, it's either here or there, but certainly Game Pass is coming into its own here. We'll talk about that in a little bit. You got last year, towards the end of the year, you had Stalker 2, you had Indiana Jones. This year coming up very soon, you're going to have Avowed. Doom is going to be out. So the Game Pass, in other words, Microsoft's sort of finally hitting their stride of releasing big games every month or so. That's coming up. I know a lot of people are looking forward to that Obsidian game, Avowed. We'll see how it goes. But GTA, $100, I don't think it's a wise decision. We'll see what happens. Many people think it's just going to be status quo. Without getting into an economics class here and talking about tariffs and all those types of things, the thing I always like to tell Matt is, no matter what industry, people want to establish a career, they want to get paid, they want to raise a family or achieve their own goals. No one here is working for free to make these games, so why in this industry do we always say, well, the game can't cost more than whatever it is? People have an opinion. Well, it's a 40-hour game. You can't charge $70 for that. No, do the fucking math. If you got 40 hours of entertainment, if you went to the movie theaters for 40 hours, how much would that cost you versus a video game for 40 hours where you can sit on your home, take it with you sometimes, play in different rooms depending on all the bells and whistles and platforms it comes on. Again, I am never advocating for charging someone more. I always land on the side of paying a fair price and letting people make these games earn a fair wage at the same time.
Yeah, I don't see what the. I mean, it's just like any good. Everyone wants to make a buck. Everyone wants to, and it costs money to do things. It costs money to live. It costs money to ride the boat. And people that work the boat want to get paid. They want to get paid well. It's yeah.
I wonder when the factory jobs are coming, Matt, so I can quit doing this, office work. I can start working at some of these U.S. factories that are going to pop up. How quickly are you getting on that? You guys just pumping?
I can't wait because I'm sure the pay is going to be absolutely incredible. Because
you're going to be building them all, Matt. I want to.
I know. Yeah.
Are you guys just going to be popping these things out like left and right?
Sure. Yeah. And once these tariffs go in against Mexico and Canada, I'm sure that's going to make things go faster. Construction prices will just drop. I imagine.
Yeah. I can't decide if I'm gonna work at the pharmacy factory or the chip factory.
Yeah, all the skilled people we have too that's going to be working in these places.
Yeah,
man, just overnight, all of a sudden, you're going to be a chip manufacturer, Mike. Imagine the possibilities.
Fucking endless.
Endless. You're correct, sir.
Speaking of chip possibilities, I'm surprised you carved out enough time for us today. I thought you were scouring the internet in the local stores for that 5090. You can't even look at your what is it, 3060 Ti over there without getting physically sick. You walk in the room and you just go like this.
My 3060 is like, okay, you're nothing to me anymore. Fuck you. You go away. It's time for something new. You're ancient. Yeah.
The always funny Gary Witter on BlueSky says he can't even walk in the room and look at his 4090. It makes him physically sick. He says it feels like he's playing on a Sega Master System.
I'm quite happy with my 3070 I have. It is very, very nice. It does wonders for me.
Poor Gary's very upset about not getting the 5090. He's physically sick about it. They're saying that as a paper release. You know what a paper release is, Matt?
No, not really.
I think paper release means it just got released on paper, but it's not really any. You can't really find the item in the store. You know what I mean? They made about 15 of them for the public to buy, and the rest all went to like media and journalists to do reviews on and videos on.
I wonder if I haven't paid attention to God. I know he took the month off of January. I wonder if Goth got one. They always send him a new video card when something comes out.
Yeah. I know Paris from Kind of Funny and Gamertag Radio, he's got a 5090, but I don't know if that was sent to him or if he bought it.
I imagine it was sent to him.
I imagine.
Yeah. Where's ours, Mike?
The only thing I get sent is fucking bills. No one sends me anything.
Are you holding back on me? Are you getting sent all the stuff and you're just not, sharing with me?
I got what on camera here, the flush OLED Steam Deck, here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Talk about in a little bit.
Where's mine?
Valve.com.
Where's my PS5?
You fucked that one up. I don't want to hear about that. The man was going to send you a PS5 and you just got all bashful about it. Oh, no, can't be doing that. Well, let's get into a little bit of what we've been playing here, unless you had any other things you wanted to talk about at the top. Any topics?
No, sir.
All right. Of course, we've been playing a lot of Diablo 4. Any new revelations on that? For those that don't know, all of us humans can get a little cranky at times. No one is adverse. No one is, doesn't occasionally need a Snickers bar. So some of us can get cranky. Some of us can get real cranky. So the new season of Diablo came out. And one Mr. Helmo was very, very cranky.
Very distraught.
Because he had to move off of her sorcerer, which we talked about before, which is now enjoying the retirement in the Eternal Realm.
Finally.
And now Matt has a druid.
Mm-hmm.
It just wasn't clicking for him, and I'm not having fun, Mike. This is not fun. And in the new season of Diablo, you have to earn things called whispers. And you go to these sort of teal sections, and you kill these rotted, infested enemies that sort of have like a purple hue around them. Anyways, you do that, you complete certain events in these areas, and you earn Whisperers, and then you bring it back to the Tree of Whisperers to get, favors. Long story short there. And when you play on certain levels in Diablo 4, like the first 4 or 5 levels, you only earn these favors 1 point at a time. So an event might give you 3 points, so another event might give you 1. But in order to progress through the season, maybe originally you needed 40 Whisperers, or maybe then you needed, 500 or 1,000. I think right now mine, I owe like 2,400 I have to do.
Yeah, I'm like at 1,200 now.
The trick though is when you play on Torment level 1 and higher, you earn them at a 10 times rate. So if an event is 3, you get 30. If an event is 1, you get 10, etc. Right? So in order to pull Matt out of the doldrums that he was experiencing, very, very bitter beer face, I imagine was going on. Even though I didn't see his face, he was sullen.
Tears down my face.
We power boosted him to level 60, and then he could add his Paragon points, and he's been off and running now. You can pick it up from there, Matt. You have quite the build going on.
Yeah. So I had a hard time playing the druid. I didn't know how to play the druid. I was going through a couple different builds. I kept respecking, and then it just seemed like I wasn't killing things fast enough. And getting these favors was just an absolute nightmare. And Mike, I don't know what the big deal is. I got to do it. I was like, well, fuck. So, yeah, Mike boosts me to 60. I got some good gear now. Got some good stats going. My Paragon boards are being filled out. My skill tree is much better. And, now I'm rocking through stuff. And you and I are melting bosses left and right. Going through the different areas, different activities, doing a bunch of stuff. It's it's back to normal, back to hitting it hard and killing shit, wrecking shop, and going through and gear and getting so much gear now that I don't know what to do with it. I wasn't getting good gear before. It was
a big purge.
It was crazy.
A big purge is going to have to go on today to clean out my inventory because it's getting ridiculous. I'm going to have to be very meticulous and look at my build and what the end game gear requires, and everything else is going to go. I'm not sure how long that exercise is going to take. I have 6 pages in my stash chock full of 800 gear that it has at least one sort of star attribute associated to.
Yeah, I got my one build in this season. They added armory, so you could do different builds and switch back and forth between those. So I've got the one build I got going on now, which is my regular build. I'm going to look at another build called a Cataclysm build and see what gear and stuff I need for that. And then anything that doesn't go with that or my other build, I'm getting rid of.
Yep.
Yeah.
I want to circle back to the Steam Deck here. They're having a sale on Steam for Vessel of Hatred, and with Diablo, your progression. There is cross progression. There is cross play, but there's no cross buy. So if I want to play, Vessel of Hatred on Steam or on Xbox, I predominantly play on PlayStation. I have to go ahead and purchase that, content again. So on Steam, they had a sale. I got to say, I think it runs better on console. I think Diablo was made for console and then ported to PC. Could be wrong about that, but at least Diablo 3 was like that, I think, to start, right? Didn't it come to PC? Didn't it come to console first?
No, I think it went to PC. I think Diablo's always been PC focused, and then went to console.
I think it plays better. I have a high-end PC. I have the Steam Deck OLED. There just seems like a little hitch. No matter where I play it, there's a little, not constant, but there's just you can see it on your screen. Like there's like the system every once in a while needs to do a leap to catch up on things. And it just runs smooth as butter on the PlayStation. So I don't know what that is. But I will say I was playing. I haven't tested this on PlayStation yesterday to see if it's a bug or not. But on PC yesterday, well, on the Steam Deck, watching the Celtics game last night and playing a lot of it, I was in some of those green areas, specifically like Icar Falls. And like you were saying when you were having the hard time, like I'm not getting credit for things. I kept running into situations. You know how you have those ladies that are entangled into the like
the roots,
like they wouldn't clear off the screen, and like no one would ever pop up. So you'd go to them, and you would never get the enemies popping up out of the ground, and then kill them, and then untangle the woman. They would just like sit there. They had like no audio. I was having same thing with the frogs too. You got to follow the frogs for them to uncover the wisp, and they would hop along and go to where they needed to go, and then nothing ever popped up. I don't know if that's a server-related issue, or if that's a bug, if that was just, I don't know what it was, but I was like, this is what Matt was talking about. I'm doing these things and not getting credit. But I was running into that on PC. But I do think the game runs and looks better, at least on my LG 75-inch with the PS5 Pro. I think it looks a lot better than what I'm seeing on my PC and the Steam Deck. I think it just looks more vibrant, fluid. The fluidity is the big thing. Like I just feel like there's a little bit of I don't know how to describe it. Like a little bit of herky jerkiness on the PC.
I might have to buy Vessel of Hatred on the Xbox and see if there's a difference, if I can tell a difference.
Well, before you do that, I want you to, we talked about this off air. Before you buy the Vessel of Hatred, load up your seasonal character and see if you can go to Nahantu or any of those regions and what happens.
Yeah.
I can do that too because I don't have Vessel of Hatred on Xbox either. The game, just for people in awareness, the game is included with Game Pass, but that's just a base game. None of the Vessel of Hatred content is included with Game Pass. You have to buy that, and of course the season pass. You'd have to buy that as well. But you can still play through the season, but you would just earn the free levels if you don't buy the pass. But yeah, I'm curious how they handle that. Like, obviously, you could go to those areas, but you just couldn't do the campaign. I mean, that would be fine. Then I don't know why I bought Vessel of Hatred on PC.
Well, that, and I guess what's going to, so if I start my Xbox version up, is that going to bork my global save character? How does that?
It's cross progression.
Yeah, it is. But if I got shit unlocked and stuff on, I guess that's, we got to find out. But I guess, if I got shit unlocked on the PC with Vessel of Hatred, like gear, like there's gear and stuff that's tied to Vessel of Hatred.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. If you have done like the transmog stuff and equipped some of the gear that you've earned through the Vessel of Hatred, from let's say like you bought a deluxe edition that came with Vessel of Hatred gear that you couldn't earn it through dismantling gear, you couldn't earn it through a season pass, but you got it by either completing a Vessel of Hatred quest. I'm not sure if there's any quests that give you gear, but if you bought something with like a Ultimate Edition, Deluxe Edition for Vessel of Hatred, I imagine that was not, you're going to try to walk around with that character and it's going to say, sorry, can't do, incompatible version.
That's what I mean, like I said, and some of the, like for my sorcerer, some of the gear I got came from the Vessel of Hatred quest and things, not just the transmog. So yeah, I would. Yeah, well, I'm gonna have to try that out and see what happens. I hope I don't bork anything, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Then I'll be sullen and distraught again.
Yes, I think my sort of takeaway on the season is too much gear. It's more of inventory management, sort of like Fallout 76. All of a sudden, you're just constantly in your inventory, fucking around with shit. And who knows, 1 percentage point higher than this, we're melting people at such a rapid clip on Torment 1. I can't. You really have to, jump from like a 750 piece to an 800 piece with like 2 attributes starred on it to maybe tell a difference. I did pick it up to Torment 2. I wasn't dying like I did in the last season, but it still felt like, wow, an enemy that I would kill in a nanosecond is taking me like 3 to 4 seconds to kill. And I'm not sure if that's what I was looking for. I was looking to maybe become a little bit, we talked about this before, you don't become a little bit more powerful. They take away your resistance to things. So you're less powerful and the enemies stay where they're at. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I did some I'd be fine if it took me longer to kill some stuff if the rewards were tangible. Like, I don't need 400% more gold. I mean, I'm already at like 700 million in gold. But where are these mythics? You know what I mean? That's
what I want, yeah.
That's what if you're going to make me spend 5 minutes to killing one enemy, don't drop me a 750 ancestral. Give me a mythic.
Yeah, I think that's where we got to do these world bosses, not the world, but like these bosses that you can farm where you have to give the tributes at the altar. I think we got to farm a bunch of those. Lilith, we got to kill Lilith. The other layers, go into those layers and that. I think that's where we got to go and start farming those guys to get some of those mythics. They're supposed to drop at all levels, but I'm not. But yeah, all this time playing, Mike, we have not gotten one at all. So I just think it's because we're not hitting those bosses as much.
The highest piece of gear I have is a 3-star 800. I haven't seen any 4 stars drop for me yet.
Yeah, the highest I haven't even gotten a 3, and the highest I've seen is 2. Got quite a few too, but not no 3s or 4s, and certainly no mythics.
I had to take a survey for Activision Blizzard. Doesn't have to take it. I opted to take it about just purchasing decisions and what you're looking for in the next sort of season pass. And there was just like, hey, would you like this included or that included? But the point I'm trying to drive at here is there is definitely another expansion planned because there was that type of language. I don't think that's a secret or anything,
Yeah.
I think they so set up front there'd be 2 expansions for Diablo.
Something like that, yeah.
I'm not sure what the time frame is on that. Circling back to the GTA discussion, that, impacts a lot of how these games are going to get released here. If GTA is on target to release, let's say, in October of this year, you would think, people would stay clear of that to the end of the year. How much of a mistake would it be to release GTA in October and then Diablo releases its expansion like a week later? Or, Obsidian, who's making Avowed, is also going to be releasing the Outer Worlds too. Any game that's sort of going to come out a week to a couple months after GTA is just going to get forgotten about.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be like, wait, what other games are out there?
So bringing it back to Diablo, I wonder if that sort of speeds up their timeline. Like, hey, if they get the real confirmation, if Phil gets confirmation from Take-Two, yeah, this thing is locked and loaded for October for GTA. If he gets that word by, June-ish, is there a real big push like, hey, we got to get Diablo's next expansion out at the latest September 1st, right? Because by October 16th, people are going to be in Miami just fucking cruising around. They're not going to have time for Sanctuary.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know who doesn't give a fuck about that is Call of Duty. Call of Duty is going to do what Call of Duty does.
Every November.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's one of them games that it's going to do well, no matter what. You could put launch both games at the same time, and they're both going to do extremely well.
I mean, I think you will see a dip for sure in Call of Duty this year. I mean, the last GTA game that came out was 2 consoles ago, 360 and PS3. This is a huge moment in gaming. These GTA's, I mean, how long's that been? 10, 12, 14, 15 years, something like that?
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah.
So Call of Duty will definitely take a hit this year if GTA comes out. I'm sure the Activision people would prefer to have GTA come out in February or March. So then they get the whole November.
Oh, absolutely.
Through January, February, to all right, I'm going all in on Call of Duty between now and time GTA comes out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Christmas sales, all that stuff, for Call of Duty. It's always a big game. People buy at Christmas time and that.
Anything else to say on Diablo, sir?
No.
Okay.
Great game. Fun.
All right. And I guess the last thing, just like online just fucking works, right? It's not that big of a deal for the most part. 99% of the time we're having no issues partying up. Every once in a while it gets wonky when we try to change the difficulty level. It feels like it takes the game like a couple sessions to figure out that we're still on the same difficulty and no one's playing on a different one. Other than that, it's pretty simplistic. Unlike, I still every once in a while want to go back to the crew.
Yeah.
And boy, we could not figure out how to fucking play online with that.
Yeah. That something there, we cannot.
What a misstep. Anyways, let's get into some gaming news. Matt, we know you're such a historian on many things in life. Cigars, your Reds, toilet augers, you just
do my research.
Exactly. Well, there is a group in the Pacific Northwest called the Video Game History Foundation. Okay, and this week, on January 30th, 2 days ago, the Video Game History Foundation has released the Video Game History Foundation Library in early access. This is an online library for free for everyone, wherever you are. Okay? And what this is they have been digitizing the video game history. So we're talking about, promotional materials, memorabilia, magazines, catalogs, publications, etc. So I'm not sure if you had time to play around with this.
Yeah, I've been looking through this thing. This thing is deep.
Right. So you go to library.gamehistory.org, right? And, for me, maybe I like to look on magazines, right? So that you go to the homepage there, there's sort of like a search, like everybody's familiar with, kind of like a Google type thing. But there's also buttons down below that say jump to magazines, jump to promotional material, jump to promo materials. So you click on jump to magazines. For me, the page reloads. And then on the right-hand side, you could type in Game Informer, right? And they have every fucking Game Informer since the start to the end digitized. And you can go in and you can read them, look at the covers, read the articles. I've only kicked the tires on this thing for like 5 minutes. But there is, anybody who's a fan, going back and want to look at like the promotional materials that came out for Dreamcast. Right?
Yeah, I'm looking at one for Nintendo promotional period. It's got all the old video games covers, on the, man, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Some memories.
So that's more of a PSA. Again, the Video Game History Foundation has an early access library going on that can be accessed at library.gamehistory.org. Play around with it and enjoy.
There's some really cool stuff, and it takes a couple of clicks sometimes to actually get to see the picture, but it's well worth it if you're into this type of stuff to see. It is really cool.
Yeah, and what a better time to get away, enjoy your hobby, and these people put a lot of work into this, digitizing this stuff. That's not easy work, and they're giving away for free. Of course, if you're getting getting something out of it and you want to donate, they have a donate. Like we said earlier, people like to get paid for the work they do. So if you want to toss them a few bucks, you can do that too.
Yeah.
All right, happy times, Matt. PlayStation players, I think, are extremely happy about this. Xbox seems to be happy about this. I'm not hearing anybody saying "woe is me," except the people that maybe want to gatekeep the games on their own system. But Forza Horizon 5, which is arguably the one of the best Horizon games, racing games, open world racing games.
Yeah.
Not sim, more of an arcade, pick up and play type of situation. Forza Horizon 5 is officially headed to PlayStation 5 this spring. Okay, so that news came out. Phil Spencer's been doing some sort of podcast press junkets this week where he has gone on many sites and said, this is obviously going to be the future. So we're seeing this, firsthand. Of course, the Minecrafts and things like that have been on other systems for a while. We've seen some other smaller games get pushed to the other systems, but this is, this is really one of the big tentpole franchises for Xbox, first party, coming to an alternate system besides PC, Steam. It's going to be coming to PlayStation. So yeah, how do you feel about that?
I guess more the better. As far as people being able to play things, times have changed a lot. When it used to be, whereas if you wanted to play a game, you had to be this console, whatever. I guess those days are kind of going away.
Well, certainly not on PlayStation, right? I don't think this means all of a sudden Spider-Man and, The Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima and all those games are coming to Xbox. Doesn't seem at this particular point.
But they're coming to PC.
They're coming to PC a year or so later, and I think they're getting the same boost that they would get if they released them day and date or like a month after the PlayStation release. Sony's got to do a better job at that. I'm sure they are financial reasons to do that, because I don't think, let's just pick like Last of Us, for example, Naughty Dog. I don't think when they are making the PS5 or PS4 or PS3 version of their game that they're also doing a PC build at the same time. Yes, some of it might be built on the PC or a lot of it, but I don't think there is they are porting it to PC at the same time. So they need that sort of year runway to have one of those like other companies like Nixies or someone do the PC port. Maybe that's why it takes them a year or so, or maybe they just want to give the game a year of sales on the PlayStation to attract everybody to buy a PlayStation. But this generation is going to be special, Matt. I don't want to keep harping back onto GTA, but everybody's going to be fucking buying an Xbox or a PlayStation once GTA drops. Because why? GTA 6 is not coming to PC. It's going to be a year or two out on PC. So all those guys that play it on PC now, they're not going to wait a year or two. They're going to go out and buy the PlayStation. They're going to go out and buy the Xbox to play this game. So Microsoft's got to be looking at that as part of the equation and saying, the more we can get our software in other places, the more money we could make. If only, Matt, only they listened to this guy back on Bad Fodder Figures who said, why would you fucking cut off your nose to spite your face? Why would you put all your sales in one bucket when you can spread it across everywhere and have your fucking competitors write you a check for how many games you've sold? It just seems like, I don't want to sound like der leader, but it just sounds like common sense.
I just want to pause here. I'm looking at the outline here that we have for the show, and I see down below there's a line that says PC Game Pass sub grows by 30%. So so there's something there to having Game Pass, and Yeah,
I think Game Pass has done extremely well this last quarter, because what got released on Game Pass for the first time? Call of Duty, right? So yeah, spreading their games in as many different places is the play for Xbox here out. We'll see if PlayStation ever. I don't think we'll ever see PlayStation games come to Xbox. That's just my own personal opinion. Sony, I think, still relies on that sale of hardware, where I think Microsoft's such a much bigger company than Sony that they're about the they're just like the Windows, right? They're just about the software, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they on it. So Phil Spencer's been on a couple podcasts this week talking about this. He says it does mean more of our games shipping on more platforms, not just PlayStation. We love the work we do at Nintendo. We love what we do with Valve on Steam. Our games will show up in more and more places. So there you have it. Nail in the coffin. All of the talk and hubris and speculation for many, many years, especially from me. We got the final confirmation. And, what's rumored now is, the Master Chief Collection potentially could be coming to PlayStation. Gears of War collection could be coming to PlayStation because that no one's living in a world where there's very few people that just are stuck in one ecosystem and don't play in the others. But let's just say there are PlayStation gamers out there that have never played Halo, never played Gears. They're going to release those collections on PlayStation to catch up those gamers on the story. And then, next year is like an anniversary of Gears of War, 20th anniversary. So maybe the next Gears game then comes to PlayStation as well once they release a collection. Same thing with Halo. Before they release the next Halo game, do they bring the Master Chief Collection over to PlayStation? There's talk of Combat Evolved being remade or remastered again for the second time.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Does that come over to PlayStation to get gamers, caught up over there on the whole Halo saga? And then that primes the pump for the next big release to come out on systems day and date, right?
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, they are releasing their games out to different consoles and so forth. But again, these are older games, older series. Okay. Nothing new yet. And then how many people are there? A lot of people out there that haven't played those games.
We know that there are some people that just play on Xbox and some people that just play on PlayStation. So there's got to be some people that have never played Gears and have never played Halo. That's not me. That's not you. I've always had both systems. You alternate between the system, but you've played the Gears and Halos. But yeah, it certainly seems like Forza has a huge groundswell around this, that people are excited. And know what else has done extremely well on PlayStation is Sea of Thieves. Moving that from Xbox to PlayStation has done really well for them. So at least those two games, there's a lot of hype. I think there will be some nostalgia heartstrings pulled if they release those collections over on PlayStation. And people,
sure.
I think there's going to be some people, as perverse as this sounds, they're just going to sit there and go, I need to see the loading screen when it says Xbox when I'm on a PlayStation. Just like people, got hot and bothered when MLB The Show came to Xbox. Look at that Sony Santa Monica logo on an Xbox.
Yeah. Now, you did hit something there just before. Pulling on the heartstrings that I can see where people just opposite way here. I'm on, like you said, I go all back and forth. So I got the Xbox right now, and say like Sony were to release the Uncharted series to be played on Xbox, that would be something I would go out and get.
Collector's edition with the paper cardboard.
With the son of a bitch. That'd be something I would go through to play those games again, to be able to play them again. Because I have no way to play those games right now. So I can see what your point there. The people that have a PS5 now, they don't have an Xbox anymore or something, or their Xbox is whatever. Want to be able to play, oh, man, yeah, the first Gears of War, I would love to be able to play that again. Or Halo, I'd love to play Halo again. Yeah, so I see that type of thing happening.
And especially with Sony dropping the ball on their first party titles. They were going last episode we talked about those live of service games being canceled. And so their first party stuff is a little thin until Naughty Dog can release their game, until the Ghost of Yute comes out. So they're, Wolverine is still being worked on by Insomniac. So their, exclusives are a little thinner than, Xbox's first party titles. And I think that's incredibly hysterical to me that at a time, and like I say all the time, these things are cyclical. At some point, PlayStation will have a whole roster of games coming out and Xbox will be dry as a bone again because developers got to go back and make their games. That at a time where Sony is going to be a little bit lean on things and they have to rely on third parties to fill up their, portfolio, it's going to be Microsoft, the ones that are going to, you already got the Call of Duty in PlayStation. You got Diablo on PlayStation. Indiana Jones is going to be coming. And then Forza. So all those third-party games are going to be backfilled in the portfolio by your competitor, Microsoft. I think that I find endless joy and laughter around that. That when Microsoft had an opportunity to sort of fucking put some progress in this whole, thing, and they could have kept everything on their system to maybe, sway things, and they've gone, like I said years ago, release them everywhere, when they've acquired all these companies. Yeah. I think gaming is headed in a direction, Matt, where it's no longer going to be about generation, right? It's going to be, just think about your own phone. What do you want, a Samsung?
I'm still on the 21.
Right. So if you jump up to the new phone, right? The form factor is going to look pretty much the same.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right. Maybe have to get a different case slightly, but overall, it's still going to fit in your pants. It's not going to be something that's foldable. It's not going to be something that, feels revolutionary. It's just going to be an iterative bump. Right. And I think that's what's going to happen here with consoles is we're no longer going to get that huge leap like we did from the 360 to the One and the PS3 to the PS4. They didn't feel like a huge jump from the PS4 to the PS5, with the exception of the noise. Right, the machine doesn't sound like it might be a bad week to say a helicopter, but it didn't.
Well,
and so I don't think the PS5 to the PS5 Pro doesn't feel like I can tell the difference, but it doesn't feel like it's a difference that you needed to have, that you had to buy.
Yeah, if you're going generation to generation, you're not going to notice too much. You're probably, some UI tweaks here and there, maybe a little snappier menu system, shit like that. But if you go from an Xbox to an Xbox Series X or whatever, you're going to notice a difference. Same thing going from a PS3 to a PS5. And like talking about my phone, if I go from S21 and I get an S24, the S25 that just came out, there's going to be a hell of a difference.
You think so?
Yeah, the form factor. No, absolutely.
I don't see. I got the
snappier speed.
At least on iPhone.
Yeah.
At least on iPhone, I went from the 12 to the 15. I don't know. I don't notice too much of a difference. I think after a while, you just get creature habit, and the buttons are all in the same place.
Sure. Right.
Maybe better battery life here and there. But I think the technology in these systems, the Xbox and the PlayStations now, currently where we are on February 1st, 2025, are so similar that they're all in bed with AMD at this point. And the architecture under the hood is very, very similar. My point is you're not going to get a console tomorrow that's going to get a 5090 in it. And no one's going to want to pay that price. So I think we're just going to see these small iterative bumps along the line, which gets back to the games maybe being able to being played in the same places a lot easier. So maybe at some point, Sony says, you know what, people aren't jumping from the PS5 to the PS5 Pro and the PS6 as quickly as possible because there's not a huge leap. We're not going from 1080p to 4K HDR 120 anymore. 4K HDR 120 is probably good enough for all of us to the end of time. You know what I mean? That's a huge leap from the 720p to the 1080p to where we are now. 8K is out there. It's not being widely adopted because I don't think there's a need for it. And, it's costly to, the graphics are all these things that charge the price of these games up. And so I think everything's going to be an iterative jump, which just gets back to the conversation of, maybe at some point Sony says the PS6 sales aren't as robust because there's not a huge jump in performance unless AI is, the PSSR and the AI, brings something to the table that I can't predict at the present moment. They say all of a sudden the money's got to be in the software, not in the hardware anymore. So we got to release our games everywhere else. And it's more about the experience. You log into PlayStation, you prefer the controller, you prefer the menu, the UI, but if you're stuck in Xbox's ecosystem and you prefer their, play anywhere approach, fucking have at it. Play fucking Spider-Man over there. What do we care? We're still getting our money. Just do we ever get that from Sony? I don't know. But I think it's more likely as the technologies doesn't have these huge leaps, and especially as these things, to the people not seeing my screen, especially as these things get released handhelds, because what happens with handhelds, you have to bump the scale of the games down to run on a handheld because the handheld can't do what this isn't a PS5 here. This isn't a PS5 Pro. This is more like a PS4, right? So you got to scale the games back a little bit. So, maybe Sony says there's money to be made in other avenues.
Mm-hmm.
You need a Snickers, Matt?
I'm good.
Good.
I'm good.
Moving on, Microsoft said biggest COD launch. This is Satya Nadella at a Microsoft webcast. Biggest COD launch ever. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, 4 million players. So that's what I was talking about, ambiguous. It doesn't say 4 million people played it. It says 4 million players. What does that mean? Does that mean me and you downloaded it and we're considered one of those 4 million players? I haven't played it. You haven't played it, did you?
No, I haven't played it.
But are we lumped into that 4 million? I don't know what that number means. Game Pass new quarterly revenue record, of course, because it's had Indiana Jones, Stalker 2, Call of Duty. PC Game Pass subscriptions have grown by 30%. I didn't want to get too much deep in the weeds in that, but there is a lot of conjecture out there this week. Microsoft had the developer direct last week, and they shadow dropped the remake or the remaster of Ninja Gaiden Black 2. And people are saying that the PC Game Pass version of that game doesn't come with all the bells and whistles that you can get on Steam. I think especially the DLSS functionality doesn't exist on the PC Game Pass. And people said this is not the first game that's on PC Game Pass that has issues. People, I think we're talking about Death Stranding and some other games as well that don't perform as good on PC Game Pass compared to Steam.
Yeah, we've talked about that before, where there is a difference between the Game Pass version and the the Steam version. I think Fallout 76, there are some differences there. Like I said, there's like graphical controls and different things like that are available in like the whole retail version, I guess you can call it, versus the Game Pass. Yeah.
Now, old fuckers like us who work all day on a computer, look at our phone all day, our eyes are so toast at this point that we probably cannot tell the graphical difference, right? What the bells and whistles are missing. The people that study that for a living do that for work. The pixel counters, you've heard of the penny counters. There's also the pixel counters out there, Matt. And I think those people are noticing it. But it's one of those things where it's never a good feeling for the consumer, especially when the price of the subscription keeps going up, right? Everybody's going up. No one's going down on anything. And you're not getting all the bells and whistles. I mean, you're like, fuck, I'm paying X amount of dollars a month or a year, depending on how you pay for these services, but yet I'm not getting what I'm paying for. I'm now playing an inferior version of the game. Whether my eyes can see it or not, it still doesn't leave me with a good feeling.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
You feel like you're getting cheated, and someone's making
Mhm.
money. Someone's making money off me, and I'm not getting the full benefit. You know what I mean? It's like subscribing to AAA and saying, "Well, we only covering you for the first 100 miles, and after that, you got to pay for it." Or your plan is only for the first 100 miles of service. You're 110 miles away from your home, so sorry, fuck you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I got a little frog in my throat. 140 million hours streamed via Xcloud.
No, I have not done this at all. I haven't done any Xcloud stuff. Have you?
I've tried it out here and there. It always not a good experience, a lot of latency. And I think the thing that turns me off the most when I tried it, it's never instant. It's always a queue. Like your game will be ready. Your game will be ready in 10 minutes. Your game will be ready in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like, fucker, I only got 30 minutes to play.
Yeah, really. Right. This is why I'm doing Xcloud, because I don't have. Yeah, right. I'm not at my console, or I'm not here. I'm not doing this. I only get this much time to play. So, yeah. I'd be curious to people doing that.
I mean,
who and why.
Clearly, it's the future at some point, but the infrastructure's got to get better. It's not a problem I don't think Microsoft can completely solve on their own, or Sony, or whoever their infrastructure provider is, AWS or whatever. But I think, just the infrastructure in the United States has got to get better for the internet, for that stuff to really work as well as we want.
Well, you talked earlier about, designing these games for all these different systems and compatibility and that. Well, you're talking cloud gaming. You're throwing so many variables in there now. You don't know someone's Wi-Fi system. The internet services. What else is going on? And there's a whole lot more complications there than there is for getting the game on different systems.
I love when Paris Lily says, "Oh, it works well for me. It fucking works great." And then, you'll see some other post. Well, I do live 5 to 10 miles away from the data center or something like that,
Wow.
I think he lives in the San Diego area. So he lives close to some sort of node or something. So he's getting incredibly strong, Wi-Fi, internet coming into his home. Where the guy in some, back road, Indiana, Kentucky, who's got, fucking Spectrum 001, that got released in 1996.
Right.
Maybe doesn't have those luxuries, right?
Exactly.
But the dude in Maine who's got Spectrum Fiber, I know a guy, he's got Spectrum Fiber. He's shitting in the high cotton, as Matt would like to say.
I love my fiber. I love my fiber. It's great. I'm never going to.
Are we talking about food? Or are we talking about
Well, I thought we were talking about food. No, the fiber internet I have is glorious.
All right, last two news stories here. PlayStation Plus, is a sore subject for Matt because his PlayStation is just picture this black hole. His PlayStation is just floating out there with his gamer tag still on there. He could have had it all this time, just paid the basic subscription and could have cataloged all these free games for years. But alas, his PlayStation Plus PlayStation Plus is shifting focus to PS5 games next year. Will only occasionally include PS4 titles. So you could have, if you locked down your PlayStation and just got the cheapo subscription, when you moved over to the PS5, you'd have a whole library of fucking free PS5. You could have booted it up and had a whole history of games to play.
Yeah. Yeah, I could have been just reeling in games. So many games that I wouldn't know what to do, but unfortunately,
thing had legs.
Yeah, it got. I remember. I came down to one day, and after we were talking about the Witcher, and there's some other game. I was like, yeah, and I get down to it. Where's my PlayStation? What happened to my PlayStation?
I don't know the exact saying, but there's some sort of adage, about family and blood is thicker than water and all this, and then it says until a girlfriend comes in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
until the opposite sex comes in, or love comes into play, or lust, or whatever, and yeah, your PS4 had legs to get legs.
Oh, sir.
And the last bit of news, I know that. Go ahead. Did you have something to say about that before we went on?
Well, yeah, no, I think this is good. I think I've always said it before. You need to, at some point, you got to cut bait and move to the new console and all that stuff. This isn't quite the same thing, but yeah, you gotta.
It's priming the
move
pump.
Forward.
It's priming the pump to tell people that are still on PS4 with the PlayStation Plus, like, hey, your freebies are drying up, because we've probably given you the whole fucking catalog for free at this point, anyways. It's time. These consoles are hitting their fifth year, as you know. The days are long, but the years are short, Matt. And this is we're going into the fifth year for the Xbox X and the PS5. So yeah, those people that are still hanging on to the PS4, I know it's a big price tag to jump up to the PS5, but that's where Sony's headed, at least for the free stuff.
Yep.
And what's no longer free, I'm using air quotes here, is MLB The Show 25 launches in March, and it's going to be on PlayStation and Xbox and the Switch, but it won't be on Game Pass or PS Plus this year.
And it's only on the new gens. There's no it's not on PS4.
It's not on PS4, so you got to play it on either the Series S, Series X, or the PS5 or PS5 Pro. It is on the Switch, which I would call last gen, but it's technically not last gen until the until the Switch 2 comes out.
Yeah.
But yeah, not on the subscription services. That's an interesting
I'm sad about that
situation there. I'm not sure if they weren't getting the people engaging, playing with it. What's the reason behind that? But Sony Santa Monica did come out. Will not be on platform subscription services in 2025. This rules out the game being added to PlayStation Plus or Xbox Game Pass this year, but it's still possible that it could be added to gaming subscriptions in 2026 and beyond.
I know it will never happen, but it'd be nice if this was available on PC, and that may need to be able to play on the Ally or the Steam Deck, because this and Madden are one of those games that's perfect to be able to play on the go, whatever, take with you, but have to be tied to a console to play this is unfortunate at times.
Help me out. Madden on PC now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can buy it from on Steam.
And that's relatively new, right?
I think the last two iterations of that game came out and also on PC.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they were constantly being released on PC there. I certainly don't think NHL isn't on. I think NBA might be the
NBA
2K, but I'm not sure the hockey game is.
The golf is. EA Sports has got a lot of games on the golf is, and
yeah, I'm not sure why they don't. I'm not sure if it's what I want to drive at. Is it a not subscription? It's the is licensing more like. Does the Players Association, MLB, etc. Like all of a sudden you're going to release these things on more screens, so we need more money from you. Is that the reason why you don't feel confident it's going to sell and you could be left holding the bag if you put it to PC? Is it a thing where they don't have the resources it's more of a niche thing, only consoles traditionally? And so we're just going to, I don't know the rationale, like why you wouldn't bring it to PC.
I think it goes back to before what we said before about games. It's probably easier for them just to configure for consoles, these sports games. And the base is already there for the console build, for these games to just build on it year after year. So I'm sure it's just easier for them to get out on the console than it is for PC. I mean, besides Madden, maybe the hockey and maybe soccer, a lot of these EA sports games aren't, big hitters.
Yeah, they do. They appeal to.
They do good.
They're going to appeal to who they appeal. They don't have mass appeal. Like all of a sudden, there's very few, people that play, RPGs. All of a sudden, geez, a new hockey game come out. That seems interesting. Let me play it. No, that hockey game appeals to hockey people first, and then. But there's a lot of sports people that aren't into hockey, right? They just I like basketball and football. I don't like hockey,
Mm-hmm.
So it's a niche within a niche, right?
Yep.
I'm reading some comments on Reddit about this, and everybody's saying, not free on Game Pass, not playing it. How come we use that terminology with Game Pass, but no one says... You don't say, hey, Matt, Mike, I can't play Diablo 4 tonight because a new free movie came out on Netflix that I'm going to watch. Or me and Bob are watching this new free episodes that came out on Apple Plus. I can't make it online tonight. No one uses that when it comes into the entertainment. But when it's gaming, I'm getting this, you're not getting it free. You're paying, it's part of the service.
Yeah, right. You're paying a service for this. It's like saying you're getting your cable, your TV shows on cable for free. No, you're not. You're paying cable. You're paying Apple Plus. You're paying Netflix. Yeah, you're not getting it for free.
Nothing is free.
Nothing is free.
As Jamie Dimon though would say, just get over it.
Mm-hmm. Get over it.
In the interest of not national security, but in the interest of the gaming industry, just get over it, Matt. That's what I'm telling you. Just get over it. Well, those are the topics I wanted to touch upon this week. Is there anything that comes to mind that you need to discuss, gaming or non-gaming related, that we should end this show on?
I'll hold my tongue on a couple of things.
Okay. Spring training is just right around the corner.
Yes, sir.
Looking outside, it doesn't feel like that, but you have your Johnny Appleseed hat on, and you're ready for.
I'm ready. Yeah. You gonna watch the Super Bowl, Mike?
No. Maybe that's when I clean out my Diablo inventory. Although my son from college is coming home that weekend for a variety of reasons. So
you'll probably end up watching it.
Yeah, because he'll probably be here watching it.
Sure.
Be a little, as they say, it would be a little weird to have your son home from college and then you be in the basement playing video games when you don't get to see him all that often.
Sure. Yeah. 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 So you can be on the couch playing video games with him.
Exactly.
Watching the game.
Are you going to be watching?
I'll probably have it. Yeah, I'll probably be watching. I'll have my Steam Deck or Ally in hand and playing. I'm not going to pay. I'll be paying more attention to the commercials and other shit going on than I will the game.
I read somewhere that some commercials are costing as much as $8 million this year.
Jesus Christ!
It seems like a low number to me. I thought there'd be some more astronaut. I know it's still an obscene amount of money for a short. That's not how much
30 seconds.
That's not how much it costs to make the commercial. That's how much it just to get the airtime for it. I mean, God knows how much they spend to make the fucking commercial.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah,
it's amazing the prices at the Super Bowl, man. I know it's the Super Bowl but it's the common man, unless they win tickets, just can't go. The prices of everything and
I wouldn't want you
tickets to get in.
I can only imagine what the security must be like down there now in New Orleans.
It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to some baseball. I'm actually really looking forward to football next year. The Patriots have made a lot of moves on their coaching staff. I'm curious to see how all that shakes out. But between now and then, there's a lot of gaming to be had. By the time football comes into full swing next season, we will know if GTA is in our sweaty little hands or not. Are you planning on picking that up? Playing that?
GTA?
Yeah, you're gonna be playing.
No, I think I probably won't be playing that. I probably won't play GTA 6. No, probably not.
He's just not letting Barb know. What are all these? What are all these scantily clad ladies on my TV? Oh, don't worry about it.
It's nothing.
I wonder if it's yeah, we don't know anything about it. Is it a single player game? Is there any cross co-op components to it? Don't know.
Yeah, they've never done that with any of their games. Have co-op or anything like that, have they?
No, but
good opportunity for it, for sure, with their games. But yeah.
All right. Well, this has been 25 back in your ears for February 1st. We'll see you in a few weeks.
Yeah.
I have servers because I play with friends.